MNQ is easier, but the more I bounce around, it gets real messy because what is it? Gold, it's like 0.5 of a point. It literally, honestly, is only 2 points or something like that. It's not a lot of points. It's not at all.
So where else can you make $100 like in like 5 minutes?
That's what I'm saying. But it's hard. Like most people, if I told you you could make $100 for 5 minutes to help me and I was your neighbor, you'd be like, okay, right? And you'd be like, sure, why not? Like for some of us, it might be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on where you're at in life. But most of us be like, yeah, sure, I'm in. But we come to the trading screen and all of a sudden we made $100 and it's like, well, I could have made 200 and then you end up on the day, you're down 300 or you're down whatever. And it's just a recipe for disaster. It is. Got to figure out a way to just figure out what your overall monthly expenses are and then multiply that by the day, factor in for taxes. I told you guys last week, mine is conservatively, like without all the business expenses, I'd have mine down pretty low. Very, very low. But then again, I've got a couple of other streams of residual income and rentals and things like that. So, I mean, literally, meaning also that means some of my investments are being paid for as well. $200-300 a day is enough to live on pretty well, including a trip. Maybe not as many international trips. What is it? 300-400? I mean, it would be tight, but covers every business expense at, 4 or 5 vacations in a year, 1 international, plus maxing out every, retirement account, feeding about 50%, so about 30,000 into, no, it'd feed about 25% of the max in the SEP, the self-directed, self-employment, whatever account, because you can put almost 70,000 in that. Literally maxing out everything and traveling and your investments and a pretty good life and going out for, Brazilian steakhouses or whatever it is, or Ruth Chris, if that's your jam, all of it. I'm already down XXX dollars. Might as well risk the rest of it. I hate that feeling. I know. Like, well, the account's screwed anyways. May as well be in. That's the problem with prop firms. I think I developed worse habits trading those props than I had ever. Even in like working with the tick chart on my cell phone a decade ago, I literally developed worse habits from these props because of that kind of screw it mindset and the instant mindset and so many bad habits.
I'm in the same boat with you with the props. Yeah, it's different. So it changes a lot of things. It's a lot different from the norm of how we were using and when you're trading your own account. And yeah, it's just different.
Yes, yeah. We got to work on, we need a psychology, group session for that, like a therapy session. And I don't mean that in any way negative. I mean, like, let's all come together and say, wait, what bad thing did we pick up and how do we adjust it? Like, we can't fix what we can't label. Because I think we're probably not the only ones in the world. I know some really good traders who just never made it on props, or just developed all these other things and it wrecked their other trading too, which I think is the tragedy.
I think one of the biggest things that really messes with your head, and I mentioned it before, is that that drawdown option. Because like when you train your own personal account, if you get like a winning day or maybe you had a loss, but you eventually have a winning day that builds your equity, you're still in the positive. So therefore, you don't generate as much FOMO, or you can still be a little bit conservative and take the little gains as you grow the account. But like on prop, because you're looking for the deadline to, 1, become live and be actually able to take out payouts. But 2, if you build equity and then you take a loss and it goes, below that, then you're in drawdown, even though you may have been up from previous days of winning days because of that trailing drawdown following your butt. So then that can sort of catch your emotions there. And then you take that one loss and then go tilt just on that. Because I found that interesting, though. There was multiple members in the group, including myself, who have been funded and literally like would blow it like within a week or in the day type of thing. So it's a lot of different mental things that you gotta, and discipline that you have to sort of set when you're trading the prop.
That is, but what you just said about the whole, okay, so you were up, but then you had this one moment in my regular accounts, like take AMP, I made 50% like 3-4 days or something like that, a crazy amount, but I went down and I'm still fine. I was trying to catch a falling knife, which was a dumb move, and I wasn't managing well. I was logged in on all the stupid things. And either way, I made a bad decision. I own that, but my account was fine. Like I wasn't worried about, oh, cool, now it's wholly ruined. Kind of like that mindset he just shared. Well, forget it. May as well go. Like, because it really does. On my account, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just gain that part back. I'm still net positive. Okay. And that's where the whole people publish their bajillion% or their bajillion-dollar gain, but they fail to publish the loss. So when you're looking at the net picture, it's not the same picture. But on my live account, you can handle that because, well, you made 50, you came down by 20 of that, you're still up technically 30% in less than 2 weeks. That's still really good. And it doesn't mess with your psychology the same as, well, screw it. Now I may as well. I'm all in now. Let's talk about this because I really want people to start taking this breakout, and it doesn't have to, New York is good. London's an option. I just prefer to work on my sleep hygiene, which desperately needs work. I like 8 p.m. Surprisingly, 8 p.m. I just like it. I know some other people have different time frames, but I like 8. Point is, not every time is it going to be perfect, and this is a good example. So it comes out, we retest 50%. This is actually really not a bad trade, depending on if you were, where you're taking it. So if you're taking it on this breaks out, you're still pretty close to a 1-to-1. If you waited for a retest of that kind of halfway point, which you don't always get, we don't always come back in, you've got almost 2-to-1 and didn't even tap that take profit. But yes, you do want to consider, especially when you're watching price action and other key levels. In this case, we're sitting at yesterday's high and pre-market high. So we know we're probably going to sweep those, but it doesn't mean we're going to continue forever. So as you're kind of coming into profit, we want to go to break even. I'm trying to just go to break even and not much more. Like I said earlier, I'm working on the concept of letting my trades win or lose, especially if I'm averaging, just even averaging a 2-to-1, you're really, really good. Some of them are a little bit more, and that's fine. Some of them are a little bit less. And you got to factor in fees. That's not bad. So let's consider maybe locking profit. We come down again. We don't get any retest here. None. But again, we know price action. We just took those and failed to kind of break and stay above. So now we know when we break here, we're going to pre-market low. So pre-market low's now been tagged. We've hit that 1-to-1, 2-to-1, depending on where your entry is for the breakout indicator. I would have liked to see a stronger rejection here at the pre-market low to let it come break through pre-market low and retest to sell down. Right now, we're not getting it just yet. So let's see how these candles react. We might have to retest this whole candle. But now I want to watch price action to see, are we coming back 50%, coming back just to here, looking for pre-market low. And then yesterday's low is, I think, Monday is all the way under here. So we're a little bit farther away. That's where my next target's going to be. So we've come and retested this. We've got 40 seconds left on this candle. So if we're looking for another trade, do I want a bit more? Yeah, but we've just retested all of that. So that's not a bad way to be. Short, I'd be looking to say, okay, I'll give it some room, a little bit more. That's 1.5-to-1. Okay. And obviously we're sitting lower than that. Let's let the next candle open and hopefully wake up a little bit. Going to give it at least some. But now we know we're going to break that level. So we're going to look to the left. You've got this area. It's going to be our area of interest. You've got this low. Very practical target. And I would have to go up a time frame. Oh, that's a strong wick. We might not even get up that high to come back up. Doesn't look like it. Let's find out. We'll keep that off the candles, hopefully. We still want price action to tell us that this is reversing. So not as much of a big move up.
Do we have news at 9?
Yes, and I don't know what it is.
I'll find it. I have a typical trader. I have like 500 different windows.
Yes. Horrible. I'm horrible, you guys. Need new screens. Wall Street stabilizes. So we're coming
I
up.
see some kind of consumer confidence. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
All right, we're coming up in this. This is a risky trade. The conservative way to enter this would be to wait for us to break down below. The conservative would be to wait to break. And you can do that. You see, you've got your retest now, or you can say, hey, I'm going to take this. If I'm going to take it without as much confirmation, I'm going to give it enough room. So how you manage is going to be super important. So you might just wake up and steal all that. And there's news in 3 minutes. So I'd like to see this come all the way down. That's almost a 4-to-1. You won't get those every time. And that's just to this low. beyond that, there's much more to the ground. Much more. Got 30 seconds left on that candle. It's just not a good turnaround place, though. Like, without all the indicators and stuff, we came and retested this area. That's what this wick is retesting. That next candle, we're really staying.
Yeah, I respected that support on the 5-minute time frame.
Yeah.
So it's possible it could, continue up a little bit more, but it's also possible it can try to retest that low before it goes up. So that low from 2 days ago,
Let's see.
or yesterday, excuse me.
So we're breaking down now. 30 seconds. 1 minute. I'm going to go to the 5. I just want to see what it looks like. So big candle. We've broken structure. We've retested. We're looking for this to break down. Got a nice little flag formation. So we've got a really good sell story. We know that this is our next low to break. And beyond that, okay, we got, blue skies, but opposite. So I don't know what to call that. We're pushing that. So we're coming. Let's see. I'm just watching this. Retesting the 20 now. Hold on, let me move this window.
I'm in deep trouble.
What happened?
I'm about to, lost about 10%. I was selling into this pullback
This one?
on NQ.
Oh,
But the same thing.
yeah.
It's
No.
just about a full V right now.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it. I've done it. It's more than I care to admit.
That's what I did last week. I was able to get in the positive for the day, but that trade that you took in class and when I was in that drawdown, obviously that kept going up for quite a while.
Yeah. It did. All of them have just been on a tear. They've gained so much percent. I like this. So I want a price action to prove that, hey, this is rejecting. On the 2-minute, we've got some signs, lots of wicks to the upside. I'm being a little conservative. I could have got a better entry, just, entering in on one of these wicks, but I'm being a little conservative. I've got my gain on the day, so I want this to be a safe, easy trade. If I take another one, this is the 1 minute. So we've came down the build. Oh, that's a good point. I'm trading on different time frames for that breakout. More contrast because smaller zone. You hit one target. This would be a 2-to-1, actually 3-to-1, depending on what your stop loss is. Came down, hit the next one, and now you're back in this zone. You're looking for some price action to be telling us to buy or sell. I know I'm not taking just a tap. We want price action to tell us we're rejecting. So we broke above, we retested. This is the best trade to buy up. This one here is a little bit more risky. It looks perfect and smooth, but there's no big reason yet. We broke above, we retested. We know we're going to come tap these highs and take out yesterday's high. Nothing. Sometimes being conservative is helpful. Sometimes not so much. We got no sell.
Frank's coming from someplace.
Look at this. It was...
That was good news for my investments.
Yeah. Good news for my long-term stuff. So good news.
That gap that was there, I wonder if it's going to eventually try to target it. I don't know if there's going to be enough to push it, but we have a lot of news this week, so we'll see.
I'm just wondering if the news is going to be the catalyst that they use to push it or a reason to go make another level to the upside before we start to go down.
My bias overall for the first quarter of the year is that we're going to be more on the downward trend than the upward trend. And then, come springtime and all that, like after about 2 to 3 months, that's when we'll start maybe a little bit more of a bull run. But that's just my opinion.
Mine too, but I don't have any evidence to back that up yet. Okay.
Correct.
We have the China thing that happened, which of course sent it to a tailspin, but now look, we're back to gains again in all times. And I just have no evidence. It's my theory, but I've got no evidence that backs up my theory. So
Digesting the news and people starting to get involved after having digested the news to decide it's not that big of a deal.
I don't think people are that quick, Scott. Sorry, but I don't know how else to say that more politely. But I still think that this is incredibly irrational. So I'm going to go here, turn off all the nonsensory, like incredibly irrational. So this obviously doesn't have as much of the tech sector in there. I get it, but let's go to MNQ let's go to NQ. This should be pretty naked. That's a 6% move to the downside. We're sitting, what is that, 38%? Maybe it's not that big of a deal. We're sitting, just below 50% of that move right now.
Nice balance off of the 50.
Yeah. There's nothing big time frame. I think it would be best for Trump's presidency too to let this kind of come down, digest all the stuff and the changes and the things happening. When does the circuit breakers kick on? 20%?
15 maybe.
I forget. I know we looked it up a long time ago. This is a 4-hour. So we're at the first part of a 4-hour candle. So wick up and then push down and clear this. We'll see. Maybe. But YM is still pushing up. Gold is kind of really still staying in that opening bell range. MNQ. We got our move. So we caught that tail. I mean, on the 4-hour, we got we literally sold into that wick perfectly.
That's your circuit breaker answer. Threshold 1 is 7%. Level 2 is 13, and level 3 is 20. So levels 1 and 2 make for a 15-minute halt. And level 3 will hold market-wide trading for the remainder of the trading day.